welcome to Fortress, Alaska. Once again, I'm your host, Dave, and this is to continue our series, So You Want to Hunt in Alaska. Now, once again, this takes into account that you are not an Alaskan. You're traveling up here to do big game hunting, and you have taken care of everything else you're required by law in knowing the game regulations of Alaska and have all your licensing and such. So today we're going to show you how to dress. Now, unfortunately, hunting season here can be a beautiful 70-degree day with sunshine, or freezing rain, sleet, and snow, or that can all be in the same day. So you must be ready for everything. So we're going to start at the top and work our way down, I guess. I don't know. So hat is very good. Whatever kind of hat you want to wear, something that'll cover your head, keep your head warm. And this one also has ear flaps, which I can put out here. And I can cover my ears, and so it keeps my ears warm. So something you keep your head warm with and keep the rain off you while you're wandering through the forest. Would like to point one thing about Alaskan law: you're not required to wear hunter orange, so that's not an issue. Going down, you want a good raincoat. I have never found Gore-Tex to work as well as a rubber raincoat, so I use the Healy Hansen Impertech, which is a good long raincoat. And you want a long raincoat because it helps get the water away from your body. Also, you also want to layer down so the water always flows down and off you. Now, some people will also wear rain pants. I personally don't like to wear rain pants, but I do wear hip boots. You can either wear all rubber hip boots, or you can hunt in rubber hip boots. I don't like hunting in regular boots unless I'm in the mountains hunting sheep. If I'm down after caribou or moose or anything else down in the tundra and the swamps and the forest, I hunt in hip boots, and I can hunt for miles and miles in hip boots. So, because that way you keep your legs dry, your feet dry, and you can cross streams, rivers, go through marshes. In most cases, you can stay perfectly dry. Now, and just because it doesn't rain doesn't mean the forest isn't going to be wet, so remember that. If you have dew at night or rain the day before, it may take several days for the leaves and stuff to dry out. So just walking through the forest, you'll get soaking wet if you're not covered head to toe in rain gear, even in nice weather. So that's something to think about. Now, underneath the raincoat, I wear another shell, or water resistant, well, it's supposed to be waterproof, but I wear a second shell underneath it, just in case I snag or get a leak in my raincoat. I have a second layer to help keep me dry. And then also, since it's a nice shell for a jacket, it also has lots of pockets to put things in. Then underneath that, I have a fleece. So then you have a nice fleece with pockets. And something else you might want to have in your pocket, along with cigarette lighters to start fires, is a head net. Especially when you get to that point where you are butchering animals, a head net will be a godsend. And there are times when, if it's a nice warm day and good weather, you could just be swarmed with mosquitoes, and a head net will keep you from going crazy. So carry a head net in your pocket at all times, and that helps out a lot. And you can wear that as needed, but they weigh almost nothing. Just throw it in your pocket. Forget about it. Not an issue. So, and then down here, we have the revolver. Remembering, when I'm out hunting, I'm carrying a rifle, so I don't need quick access to the revolver. The only time I need access to the revolver is when I don't have my rifle. So if I'm going to set my rifle down, I can open up my jackets so that I have access to the revolver. This way also keeps it out of the weather, because if it's freezing rain, the last thing I want is my holster and pistol to get filled with water and ice and make it so it's not usable, or that I can't even draw it from the holster, because the holster will absorb water and freeze like a rock. So that's the issue. Then under that, I usually have another fleece, because it can be cold, and you're going to be out in wet rain and snow. It can be very cold. I generally just wear plain old pants. I just use cargo pants, nothing fancy. And then underneath all that is wool. Wool socks, wool long johns, wool shirt, wool. Wool is the bottom layer. Wool is your friend. Do not wear cotton. Cotton kills. So always wear wool as your bottom layer. You can also use silk, a little bit pricier than wool, and in my opinion, wool just works better. And get good wool. Get the high-end stuff. Yes, remember, you are traveling a long way to hunt in Alaska. You don't want to be miserable because of the weather. So dress appropriately, head to toe, realizing you're going to have to shed water, and you're going to try to stay dry as much as you can, because once you're cold and wet, you are going to stay cold and wet. You are never going to warm up, not until you can get in the building and dry out. And also have backup gear. You're traveling out there, make sure that the layers that can get wet, you don't have to worry about raincoat. Raincoat's supposed to get wet, but the stuff that's supposed to stay dry, have backups for. At least one set of backups, so that you can be dry in one set while you're wearing the other, and that way you always have a dry set. And lots of socks, as many socks as you want to pack. If you got to change your socks 3 or 4 times a day because your feet get wet, that's important. Walking around with cold, wet feet really is not a good idea. So, once again, this is the basics on how you're going to need to dress when you come up to go hunting for big game in Alaska. And remember, wool is your friend. Your bottom layer, wool. Wool socks, wool top, wool long johns, you will do good. You want to be able to shed water all the way off you, so the outer layer, if not the outer 2 layers, should be waterproof. Like I said, I prefer the long range coat. Means I can sit down on stuff and still not get wet because I don't wear rain pants, but you can wear rain pants and then you can sit anywhere. I tend to kneel and not sit when I'm out hunting because I have bad knees and the cold water helps the knees. So, once again, I'm your host Dave. Thank you for watching part 3 in this series. So you want to hunt in Alaska, your clothing, or how you should dress when you go out hunting. Just a quick follow on a couple of extra items you should have with you. Gloves. Gloves. You need gloves. Once again, I use wool gloves, and then you can get, a waterproof shell or something to put over them. But wool gloves, I never even use waterproof shells. I just use wool gloves. Wool gloves, even wet, keep your hands warm. So if it's raining, you just try to keep your hands as dry as you can, but wool gloves keep your hand warm in the rain. If it's warm enough that it's raining, your hands aren't going to get too cold anyways. But if it's really cold outside, you want warm wool gloves. And often I have used wool gloves with an outer liner to keep them dry if I know I'm going to particularly bad weather, that I'm going to be right around freezing and rain. So I usually have warm wool gloves and a shell. And these are wool that are fleece lined. So I usually take 2 pairs so that I have a backup so one can dry while the other one's wet, because your hands will get wet. The other thing, at night, or when it can get really cold at night, and or it can get really cold when you're out. And if you're just sitting around watching, you may want something more than just a regular fedora hat like I use. Although honestly, for hunting, that's all I've ever used. But as a backup hat, what I use is what's called a head sock. And a head sock looks like this when you first get it. And what you do is you fold the bottom side into the inside, and this is just made of fleece. It's a nice, good, thick fleece, and you can also get these with windproof fleece. I have both, and honestly, I've never found it to be needed to have to use the windproof one. I've pretty much gone to just using this one. So then you just fold the bottom inches in so that it comes up past the opening for the head. And here I'll show you. We'll put it on. And this can cover your nose. You can zip this up nice and tight. And now you just have your head exposed. You can do this with a ball cap underneath it to give you sunshade if you want. You can use this if you're just like sitting and not moving, and it's like cold, windy outside, and you want to keep your head really warm. This is a way to do it. So don't forget, 2 pair of gloves and maybe a backup to keep your head warm. I like these because you can wear it like this. You can have this down, see my face, or I can push it down like this and just wear it like a scarf. And so it's got lots of options, or you can just take it off and be like I do and just throw it in the cargo pocket because it's small enough to fit in the cargo pocket. So once again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe, let your friends know, share it. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the regular places. And as always, have a good day and get out shooting.